Hey everyone, welcome to Anime Dreams. On this channel, we explore stories, theories, and fanfics that dive deep into your favorite anime universes. Today, we're exploring a fascinating what if Naruko mastered both dawn and dusk. Disclaimer, the content on this channel is for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any of the anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's dive in. Namikaze Uchiha Naruko. A 4-year-old girl wandered through the peaceful forests of Konohagakure no Sato. Her hair was a vibrant mix of blonde with a few strands of light brown, long and spiky, brushing her shoulders. 2 playful bangs framed her face, and a few strands fell near her right eye, giving her a slightly mischievous look. Naruko knew she was different. While other children played tag or ran around without a care, she often thought about life and the world around her, about the different shinobi villages, their traditions, and the challenges they faced. Some might have said that any 4-year-old thinking this way needed a doctor to check her mind, but Naruko knew there was nothing wrong with her curiosity. She simply saw the world differently because of how she had been raised. Her To-chan. Namikaze Uchiha Minato. Yes, Naruko was the daughter of the great Yondaime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato. Though young, Naruko was remarkably intelligent. She didn't like to brag, but she secretly believed she would be among the brightest when she joined the Shinobi Academy. She had noticed how people revered her father as a hero while whispering things she didn't fully understand, words like demon, monster, or traitor. She ignored them. Her father and the Uchiha clan's protection meant no one dared speak such things directly to her. Being the daughter of Yondaime Hokage and granddaughter of Uchiha Madara has its advantages, she thought quietly, a small smile playing on her lips. The Uchiha clan respected her. Not everyone knew that Minato was part of the legendary Uchiha bloodline, descended from Uchiha Madara himself. Only a few, Jiraiya, Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, Senju Tsunade, and the late Sandaime Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, were aware. Even so, Minato's bravery and loyalty had won everyone's trust, and the clan that once feared losing influence felt reassured seeing their own bloodline in leadership. Minato, unlike many, carried pride without arrogance. He had grown humble through hardships, and he was teaching Naruko the same values: kindness, courage, and patience. As Naruko walked deeper into the forest, her thoughts drifted to her mother. Her mother, Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, had come from the distant village of Uzushio-gakure no Sato. Naruko had learned that Kushina had passed away protecting the village from a terrifying creature called the Kyubi no Yoko. Her father had fought bravely alongside the Sandaime Hokage to protect everyone, and although they had saved the village, the Sandaime Hokage had lost his life. That night, her father had revealed a secret power he usually hid, a mysterious ability of the Uchiha. What Naruko didn't know yet was that the very same Kyubi no Yoko now lived within her, a being made of pure energy that could never truly be destroyed. Her life was intertwined with incredible power and responsibility, though she was too young to fully understand it. Naruko had been fortunate to grow up with her Ji-chan, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had guided her with warmth and wisdom. He had used a special technique to ensure that Naruko had her father by her side as she grew, teaching her the values of courage, kindness, and hope. Suddenly, Naruko realized she had been wandering for a long time without noticing. She looked around and saw that she was far from home, standing among several ruined stone buildings scattered through the forest. She rubbed the back of her head, a habit she had inherited from her father, and muttered, "Ah, I got lost again. I need to let To-chan know where I am." Her eyes caught something unusual, a gigantic tree partially hidden behind bushes. As she approached, she saw a symbol carved into the tree, partly obscured by leaves. Carefully, she pushed the bushes aside to reveal it fully. It was the symbol of Konohagakure no Sato. On its left and right were the marks of the Senju and Uchiha clans. Around her were old signs of the past, ruined stone walls, scattered training tools, and faint burn marks on the trees. It was a place with history, a place where the stories of the village's bravery were quietly preserved. Naruko's eyes sparkled with wonder as she realized she had discovered a secret part of her village's past, a place where courage, legacy, and the spirit of shinobi lived on. She stood there a little taller, feeling inspired. One day, she thought, she would grow up to be a shinobi who could protect her village and honor the legacies of those who came before her. Flashback. A 3-year-old Naruko was happily tucked under the comforts of her blanket in her bed by her To-chan, Minato. To-chan? I have a question," said an excited Naruko. Minato pulled a nearby chair and sat beside his precious daughter, smiling warmly at her. "Yes, Naru? Naruko always loved the nicknames her father gave her. She could never come up with nicknames herself, so she believed it took someone a lot of thought to create one, and she adored that her father took the time to think about her. Even though she was a clever little girl, she was still a child, and that mix of wisdom and playfulness was one of the many things Minato cherished about her. How was our village formed? What was here in this place before Konoha was built? Naruko asked, her eyes wide with excitement, eager to learn. Well, do you remember what I told you about my father and the Shodaime Hokage of our village? Yes, To-chan. Madara Sofu and Senju Hashirama belonged to two noble clans, the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan. They were the leaders of their clans, and they formed an alliance to create the first hidden village, which today is called Konohagakure no Sato, Naruko said proudly. Minato nodded and patted her head affectionately, signaling that she was right. Naruko puffed out her chest, beaming with pride at knowing the history of her village. So, before Konoha was formed, most clans fought each other to gain lands and resources. There were also wealthy people, like the daimyo, who hired shinobi from clans to do special tasks. One clan would try to challenge another to take those resources, and that's how many of the battles started. The Uchiha and Senju clans had similar struggles. The very land where our village stands was once the battlefield between these two clans. When they formed their alliance, they chose this place, a spot that had seen both conflict and meetings, as the foundation for the new village. So, does that answer your question, Naru? Minato asked, making sure his explanation was simple enough for her to understand. Yes, To-chan. You're the best, Naruko said, closing her eyes and snuggling into her blanket as sleep began to tug at her. Sleep well, Naru, Minato said, kissing her forehead gently. Naruko's thoughts wandered as she looked around. This must have been one of the main areas where the Uchiha and Senju clans fought before the village was built. Her eyes caught an inscription beneath the Konoha symbol. She leaned closer and traced the words with her fingers. On this day, the Senju and Uchiha clans joined hands to form an alliance for a better future for the coming generations. It was Madara's and my dream to end the endless fighting that plagued the world. On this land, our new home will be built, Konohagakure no Sato, a village founded on the will of fire. A place where children can live safely and happily, where parents need not bury their own children. I believe one day people will look past differences and see each other eye to eye. This is my dream for the future. Hashirama Senju clan leader. Naruko felt a warm sense of awe fill her heart. Her grandfather, Madara, was also mentioned, and she felt a gentle sadness at never having met him. Why did you have to leave me and To-chan alone, Madara Sofu? I never got to spend time with you, unlike To-chan, she thought quietly. Looking up, she noticed the sun beginning to set, painting the sky in soft shades of red and gold. She closed her eyes and let the gentle breeze brush her face. Suddenly, she felt a hand on her shoulder and tensed, thinking someone might be sneaking up on her. Naru? What are you doing so deep in the forest at this time? Minato asked, his voice full of concern. Hearing her father's voice, Naruko relaxed and hugged him, smiling as he bent down to her level. Sorry, To-chan. I kind of got lost on the road of life, she teased lightly, seeing his eyes twitch with amusement. Minato laughed softly. I was worried, Naru. I looked for you at home and didn't find you. Next time, tell me, okay? You could get hurt out here. Sorry, To-chan. It won't happen again. Promise, Naruko said, looking down at her feet, realizing how much her father cared for her. Come on, it's all right. The good news is, you're safe. It's a father's job to worry about his child, Minato said, ruffling her hair and earning a goofy giggle from her. Let's go home. I'll make us some dinner. What do you want tonight? He asked, taking her hand in his. Ramen, Naruko shouted with delight. Ha! Looks like me and Naruko both got our eating habits from Kushina, Minato thought with a small smile as they walked home together. Although there were many villagers and shinobi who were wary of Naruko because of what she carried within her, there were also those who adored the young blonde girl. Kakashi Hatake, a former student of Minato and now an Anbu agent, was one of them. The son of the famed White Fang, Sakumo Hatake, Kakashi's silver hair always seemed to defy gravity, and his ever-present face mask gave him an air of mystery. Almost no one knew what he really looked like beneath it. His left eye was always covered, hiding the Sharingan, a powerful eye technique given to him by his friend Obito Uchiha in his last moments. Kakashi's reputation as Sharingan no Kakashi had grown from the countless missions he had completed as a young shinobi, impressing everyone who heard his story. Several other shinobi and Anbu agents also held a soft spot for Naruko. Yu Gao and Kurenai, both students of Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, felt deeply for the girl after hearing of Kushina's tragic passing during the Kyuubi's attack. They often visited Naruko when her father was busy, offering warmth and care. Mikoto Uchiha, matriarch of the Uchiha clan, and her husband Fugaku, who had been lifelong friends of Minato and Kushina, frequently spent time with Naruko and helped her grow. Mikoto had immediately taken a liking to the little girl and often played and read stories with her, enjoying every moment of her bright laughter. Jiraiya of the Sannin, one of the legendary 3 shinobi who had trained Minato, also had a soft spot for Naruko. Known for his adventurous spirit and remarkable skill with nature energy, he had a quirky sense of humor that always made Naruko giggle during his visits. He was proud of her potential and often encouraged her to believe in herself. Even the kind chefs at the Ichiraku ramen store were among Naruko's favorite people. Chuchi, the wise father, and his cheerful daughter Ayame, always welcomed her with a warm smile and her favorite bowl of ramen. The next day, Naruko and Minato sat together on the grassy field of their backyard, shaded by the soft pink blossoms of a sakura tree. The gentle breeze carried the scent of flowers, and the quiet afternoon felt peaceful. Even though Minato's Uchiha heritage had been revealed, he had chosen not to live in the Uchiha compound. He wanted Naruko to grow up in a normal childhood, free from the weight of expectations. Living here with me. She can be just a kid, Minato thought, watching Naruko shift her weight on the grass. No one will expect her to be extraordinary, not yet at least. She can just be. Naruko tapped her father's knee, breaking his thoughts. Yes, Naru? He asked gently. To-chan. I want to become a shinobi, she said softly, her gaze fixed on the grass. Really? And why is that, Naru? Minato asked, curious. I want to be strong like you. I want to make the world peaceful. You always say there's a lot of hatred, that people might not understand us because they are afraid. I want to help everyone be happy. I don't want anyone to get hurt. And I don't want you to get hurt either, she whispered, her eyes downcast. Minato looked at her quietly, moved by her sincerity. Naru. Do you know why shinobi fight? He asked gently. To protect someone they care about, she replied, recalling lessons from her father. That's right, Minato said with a small smile. In this world, right and wrong are often just different perspectives. But fighting for someone you love. That is always honorable. Do you understand? Naruko nodded slowly, her small hands folded in her lap. You have a wise heart, Naru, Minato continued. Most kids want strength for themselves, but you want it for others. That is very special. Naruko's face lit up as she hugged her father tightly, feeling the warmth and safety of his presence. When they parted, Minato guided her to a nearby pond. Today, we're going to unlock your chakra, he said. Everything around us has chakra, people, animals, even plants. Chakra is life energy. If someone runs out, they become very weak. Shinobi learn to control this energy through special points in the body called tenketsu. Once you learn, you can do amazing things. Naruko listened intently, curiosity shining in her eyes. To-chan. Do I have more tenketsu points because you are the Hokage? She asked. Minato chuckled softly. No, Naru. Everyone has 361 tenketsu points. But when you train, your chakra coils expand, and you can use more energy. Being born in a shinobi family sometimes means you have more chakra, but anyone can grow stronger with practice. Excited, Naruko followed her father's instructions, sitting cross-legged with her palms together in front of her chest. She closed her eyes, concentrating deeply, feeling a gentle warmth grow inside her. Slowly, a bluish-purple light began to glow in her hands. Suddenly, chakra burst from her, swirling around her like a web of light, the ground gently cracking beneath the energy. Minato's eyes widened in amazement. Such power! At such a young age! Incredible! Naruko opened her eyes, feeling stronger than ever. She could sense her father's chakra nearby, and even the presence of a few shinobi standing east of their home. A sense of pride and excitement filled her heart. Today marked the first step of Naruko's journey to becoming a shinobi, a journey that would be full of learning, courage, and the kind of heart that could change the world. I did it, To-chan, she whispered in a tired voice. She smiled at her father's surprised expression and tried to stand. She planted her hands on the floor and rose shakily. After 2 uncertain steps, her vision wavered, and she almost fell. Minato quickly rose from his chair and steadied her before she could topple over. I'm proud of you, Naru. You must be tired now, Huh? Minato said, and Naruko nodded weakly. He held her gently in his arms, and she immediately drifted into a peaceful sleep. He brushed her hair softly and heard her let out a content sigh. There's no doubt in my mind, you will go on to achieve great things, my daughter. Whatever path you choose in life, know I will always be by your side, he whispered. Minato carried Naruko to the living room and laid her gently on the couch. Sleep well, Naru, he said, kissing her forehead once. Looking at the clock, he saw it was around 4:30 in the afternoon. I should finish some paperwork. Later, I'll take Naru for ramen, he thought, heading to his office. A few hours later, around 8 at night, Naruko slowly opened her eyes. She rubbed them to adjust to the light and realized she had fallen asleep right after unlocking her chakra. She looked around and saw she was on the living room couch. Ko-chan must have put me here, she thought. She folded the blanket neatly and walked toward the kitchen, which was empty. Naruko remembered how she could sense the location of the Anbu standing outside earlier, and how she could feel her father's chakra. Closing her eyes, she concentrated, trying to find it. Ah! He's in the office, she realized with a small smile and hurried upstairs. Minato, busy with paperwork, looked up as she entered. Naru? When did you wake up? He asked. To-chan. I'm hungry. Can we have dinner now? Naruko exclaimed, rubbing her head sheepishly. Just give me a few minutes, okay? We'll go to Ichiraku Ramen, he replied. Naruko grinned and ran to her room to get dressed. So much paperwork. Will it ever end? Minato muttered. For hours, he had been signing papers for random village requests. Realizing worrying wouldn't help, he skimmed the remaining documents and used a cage bunshine to finish them while he went to get Naruko ready. He found her waiting by the door, bouncing with excitement. Ready to go, Naru? He asked. Hi, To-chan. Let's hurry. She replied, grabbing his hand, and they walked toward the ramen shop. The village streets were quiet under a chilly November sky, with most villagers inside their homes. Shinobi and Anbu walked carefully, keeping watch. The Namikaze compound was on the east side of the village, near the Uchiha compound. Even after past concerns about the Uchiha, Minato had refused to separate the clans. He believed in unity and the importance of everyone belonging. As Naruko chatted about her training and dreams, Minato listened quietly, amused by her excitement. She wanted to become a strong shinobi and admired her grandfather's stories of bravery. She unconsciously squeezed her father's hand tighter, and he noticed. I wish Kushina were here to see her, he thought. Finally, they arrived at the ramen shop. Hokage-sama. Naruto-kun. Called Tuchi and Ayame, greeting father and daughter warmly. Tuchi, Ayame, you don't need to be so formal. You know us, Minato said with a smile. Ayame turned to Naruko. Naruto-kun, what would you like today? The usual? Yes. The same as always, Naruko said eagerly. I'll have the same as Naru, Ayame. 2 miso ramen, please, Minato added. Soon, steaming bowls were placed before them. Naruko inhaled the aroma and ate happily, finishing in moments. Minato watched her, amused and proud. After finishing his own bowl, they thanked the chefs and walked home under the cool night sky. As they returned, Itachi Uchiha, the young genius of the Uchiha clan, appeared. He had already graduated from the Shinobi Academy at age 8 and was known for his calm and kind nature. Seeing the Hokage and his daughter, he approached politely. Naruko noticed him and stared, wide-eyed. Minato, impressed by her sensing ability even at age 4, smiled softly. Itachi, returning from patrol? Minato asked. Yes, Hokage-sama. Shishui relieved me from duty, Itachi replied. He looked at Naruko, recognizing her unique presence. This is my daughter, Naruko Namikaze. I believe you've met her before? Minato asked. Itachi nodded. I've seen her around. My mother has told me about her, he said quietly. Naruko stayed silent, curious about the boy before her. She had rarely spoken with children her age, often preferring books and quiet moments. How is little Sasuke? Minato asked Itachi. He's well, Hokage-sama. Soon, he will start training. Perhaps I could bring him to meet Naruko. They could become friends, maybe even friendly rivals, Itachi suggested. Naruko tilted her head, a small frown forming. Will he look at me differently, like the others do? Minato and Itachi exchanged glances, noticing the tiny sadness in her voice. Minato knelt and hugged her gently. Naru, anyone who meets you will see the wonderful person you are. You'll make friends who appreciate you for your heart and your courage. Naruko hugged him back, feeling safe and hopeful, her bright determination shining in her eyes. Surprisingly, Itachi bent down to Naruko's eye level and gently placed his hands on her shoulders. No, Naruko-chan. Sasuke wouldn't look at you that way. Also, it shouldn't matter what others think of you. They don't truly know you, just as you don't know them. You are special, Naruko-chan. You have a strength inside you that others might not see yet. People sometimes fear what they don't understand. So, don't be sad or worried. Naruko blinked, a little surprised. She glanced at her father and saw him smiling warmly. Then she turned back to Itachi and managed a shy, grateful smile. Thank you, Itachi-san, she said softly. Itachi straightened and looked up at the sky, noticing the moon's gentle glow. It's getting late, Hokage-sama. I should probably be on my way. I apologize for keeping you both for so long, he said politely. It's no problem, Itachi. Tell Fugaku and Mikoto to visit our home sometime as well, Minato replied. Naruko's face lit up at the thought. She remembered fondly how kind Mikoto had been, often bringing stories and little gifts that made her days brighter. Many of the books she treasured now had been gifts from her auntie. Of course, Hokage-sama, Itachi nodded. He looked at Naruko one last time. It was nice meeting you, Naruko-chan. I'll bring Sasuke to visit sometime soon, so we can all spend some time together. With a respectful bow to Minato, he vanished in a graceful swirl of leaves, heading home. That was amazing. To-chan, do you think you could teach me that technique someday? Naruko asked excitedly, her eyes sparkling. Minato chuckled at her enthusiasm and gave a simple nod. Taking her hand, he led her back toward the Namikaze compound, their footsteps soft on the path under the moonlight. Naruko felt a warm, happy glow inside her, the kind that comes from feeling loved, encouraged, and ready to grow. Ninjutsu. Once a gift meant to connect hearts, now twisted into a tool for conflict. That was not what he had intended. Rikudo Heim, the great sage who had lived long ago, had taught that chakra was meant to bring people together, to heal, to share joy. Yet humans, in their impatience, often misused what was meant to unify. Her own children, Indra and Ashura, had inherited great power, and with it, choices that weighed heavily on the world. Indra sought strength and control, while Ashura believed in kindness and understanding. Their feud, born from different visions of the same goal, spanned generations, carrying tension far beyond their lifetimes. Rikudo Heim knew she had made a choice long ago that shaped their paths. She had trusted Ashura's heart to guide the world toward peace, and in doing so, she had unintentionally left Indra to wander a darker road. She watched, time after time, as their energy, immense, radiant, almost like stars themselves, flowed into new lives, hoping one day someone could mend what had been broken. Then, one day, she felt it again, the chakra of both sons returning, but this time converging in a single child. She did not yet know the human's name, but she could see glimpses through the fog of destiny, blonde hair, sparkling blue eyes. Her heart swelled with hope. This child would be different. This child could unite what had long been divided. When Naruko was born, Rikudo Heim appeared before her in spirit, offering a gift unlike any other. She shared her own unique chakra, blending it with Naruko's. Golden and silver coils of light intertwined with the girl's energy, creating marks on her tiny hands, a radiant sun on the right, a crescent moon on the left. These symbols were hidden for now, waiting for the day Naruko would reach deep within herself and discover the power of her own heart. Even the guardian spirit, Kurama, felt the change. He was wary at first, sensing the immense energy flowing into this small human. But Rikudo Heim calmed him, reminding him that this child was meant for goodness. Help her, Kurama, she said gently. She will be different. She will grow with wisdom, courage, and love. Guide her when the path feels dark, and stand with her in her brightest moments. This child is the hope of the world. Kurama's eyes softened. I will watch over her, he promised. No harm will come to her while I'm here. And so, Naruko's story began. With the combined light of generations past, and the love of a sage who had once walked the earth, she would grow to inspire those around her. She would learn that true strength lies not in control or fear, but in understanding, kindness, and the courage to bring people together. Rikudo Heim, at last, could rest. She had given the world its light once more. And as Naruko's life unfolded, the world would see that hope, compassion, and bravery could shape a future brighter than any shadow of the past. Next day, Namikaze Compound, Kanahagakure no Sato. She could feel it. She could feel everything around her, and it was mesmerizing. Naruko sat in the back gardens of her compound in a lotus position, meditating. Her face held a picture of perfect calmness. Her To-chan had told her that morning that meditation was important for a shinobi. It helped one stay calm and keep the mind clear. Most importantly, it made one aware of the world around them. For about an hour, Naruko had been sitting quietly. A gentle breeze drifted through the village. Her jaw-length bangs fluttered softly in the wind. Naruko felt at peace like never before. She could sense the emotions of the people in the village. She could feel the energy of the trees, the wind, the animals, and even the lake in her garden. It's everywhere, she thought, wide-eyed with excitement. She had never felt such a wonderful sensation before. It was pure, fresh, and full of life. She wanted to connect with it. Slowly, she reached out with her senses, letting the world's energy flow into her. Immediately, she felt refreshed. Her senses sharpened, and she was in complete harmony with the world. A radiant smile spread across her face. She couldn't describe the feeling, it was as if she could feel the heartbeat of everything around her. Unbeknownst to Naruko, her entire body glowed with a brilliant shade of purple chakra. Life blossomed around her. Flowers bloomed, trees grew taller, birds sang joyfully, and squirrels gathered near her, curious and friendly. The scene looked like something from a dream. Her chakra radiated warmth and calm, gently touching the hearts of everyone in the village. People stopped what they were doing, feeling a strange yet comforting happiness that filled them from head to toe. Inside the Hokage's office, Minato and Kakashi felt it too. Both recognized the chakra signature and grew slightly concerned at its intensity. Without hesitation, Minato grabbed Kakashi's arm, and in a flash of yellow light, they appeared in the Namikaze compound gardens. Their eyes widened at the sight. Naruko, just 4 years old, was connecting with nature itself. Sensei. Naruko. Isn't that? Kakashi stammered, unable to fully comprehend what he was seeing. Minato was equally astonished. He could hardly believe it. His daughter, so young, was doing something that even the most experienced shinobi struggled to master. Senjutsu. Yes, Kakashi. Naruko is using senjutsu, Minato whispered. Naruko felt her father and Kakashi's presence. Curious, she decided to test something. She extended a part of her glowing chakra, forming it into a small, waving hand, greeting the two visitors. Slowly opening her eyes, she stopped drawing energy from the world. The swirling purple chakra around her receded. She looked at her To-chan and her Ni-chan with wide, questioning eyes, silently asking if they understood what had just happened. Minato and Kakashi approached her slowly, awe and pride on their faces. Naruko? What were you doing just now? Minato asked gently. Oh, that. I was feeling the chakra, To-chan. It felt amazing. I could feel it everywhere, in everything. I could even sense everyone in the village. Even you and Kakashi Ni-chan. I could feel their feelings, too, Naruko said, her voice bubbling with excitement. She folded her hands over her chest, thinking for a moment, then grinned. It felt like I could talk to nature. Isn't that cool, To-chan? Kakashi Ni-chan? Neither Minato nor Kakashi could speak. They had never seen anything like it. A 4-year-old using senjutsu effortlessly was beyond belief, but the proof was right in front of them. Minato knelt down to her level, pride shining in his eyes. Yes, Naruko. That truly is incredible. But do you know how you did it? I was meditating, like you told me. And then I just felt the chakra around me. It felt so pure and happy, I wanted to let it in. And then it did, Naruko said with a bright, innocent smile. Minato and Kakashi shared a glance, thinking silently, her ability to connect with senjutsu at such a young age was extraordinary. Naruko, what you are doing is called senjutsu, Kakashi explained kindly. The chakra in the world is called nature chakra. Not everyone can sense it, and even fewer can use it. Only a handful of shinobi can master this. And you, Naruko, are doing it naturally. Naruko's eyes sparkled with understanding and joy. She didn't boast, she was simply happy to share this special connection with her To-chan and her Oji-chan. Minato rose to his feet, motioning for her to stand. Come on, Naruko. Let's go inside. You must be hungry after all that. Yes, To-chan. She cheered, running ahead with boundless energy toward Ichiraku ramen. Minato and Kakashi couldn't help but laugh at her enthusiasm. Unseen by anyone, her hand still held faint marks, a sun on her right hand and a half-crescent moon on her left, symbols that hinted at the extraordinary adventures that awaited her. 2 months later, Jiraiya had arrived in the village just 2 days after receiving a message from one of his toad summons about Naruko's ability to use Senjutsu. Minato had written a detailed note describing what he had felt and seen Naruko do. To say Jiraiya was surprised would be an understatement. Watching his goddaughter naturally use Senjutsu chakra left him wide-eyed. It seemed impossible, yet there it was, right before him. Instead of doubting what she had achieved, it strengthened his belief that Naruko was special. When Minato and Jiraiya began teaching her the intricacies of Senjutsu, they noticed markings on her hands, a sun on one, a half moon on the other. Naruko didn't know what they meant, but she could feel the difference in her own energy, one bright and warm like the sun, the other calm and quiet like the moon. Minato explained that the sun represented her yang chakra, and the moon her yin chakra. For 2 seasoned shinobi, seeing such a natural manifestation of balanced yin and yang in someone so young was astonishing. Soon, Naruko was introduced to the toad summons. She could barely contain her excitement, being able to meet and train with the same wise toads as her father and Jiraiya Oji-chan felt like a dream. For several days, she split her time between Mount Myaboku, learning Senjutsu from the toads, and practicing with her father. Even Jiraiya, a master spy, found moments to teach her between his missions. Naruko's chakra control was extraordinary. During tree walking exercises, she balanced effortlessly in just half an hour. Water walking took her a little longer, but she completed it quickly, leaving both Minato and Kakashi amazed. She also tackled more advanced exercises, balancing kunai on her head, separating colored sand particles in seconds, and performing delicate movements with pinpoint accuracy. Even Tsunade Senju, famed as the greatest medical ninja of the era, would have been impressed by Naruko's talent. At only 4 years old, she already demonstrated chakra control on par with the legendary Kunoichi. Naruko was a sponge for knowledge, everything taught to her she absorbed immediately, and she grew stronger and more skilled with every lesson. In 2 months, she had mastered several foundational jutsu. Henge, transformation jutsu, kawarimi, substitution jutsu, shunshin no jutsu, teleportation jutsu, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Even beginner medical ninjutsu, like Shozen Jutsu, mystical palm technique, came easily to her. Watching her train, Kakashi and Minato often wondered if any prodigy they had ever known could compare. But Minato, loving and protective, refused to rush her into dangerous missions. She deserved a childhood full of learning, exploration, and joy. It was a warm, sunny day in Kanahagakure no Sato. Around 1 in the afternoon, the market streets buzzed with life. People moved in and out of shops, shinobi leapt across rooftops, and the aroma of fresh food filled the air. Naruko had just finished her midday meal at the ramen stand after a morning of training. She walked toward a quiet, forested area near the Hokage Tower to practice some taijutsu katas from a scroll given by her father. The scroll taught Interceptor Fist, a taijutsu style requiring fast reflexes, careful observation, and precise movements. While others might rely on special tools like the Sharingan, Naruko was learning to depend on her own senses, honing her body to react quickly and gracefully. Her daily routine was rigorous but joyful. Every morning, she ran laps around the Namikaze compound, followed by push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and punching and kicking a training dummy. Each week, she challenged herself to do more, inspired by Kakashi's stories of his own training as a young ninja. As she walked through the forest, focusing on her next kata, a soft sound caught her attention. It was a girl, crying somewhere among the trees. Naruko's ears perked up. She paused, her heart filled with concern, and tiptoed toward the sound, ready to help. Few minutes earlier, Sakura Haruno, a 4-year-old girl, was an aspiring ninja. Both her parents were veteran shinobi who had retired after the Third Great Ninja War. Her father, Kazashi Haruno, was skilled in genjutsu, while her mother, Mebuki Haruno, was a talented medical ninja. Sakura had always loved reading books and often visited the Konoha library to borrow volumes about medicine, shinobi life, and the history of the elemental nations. Being a little bookworm, she hadn't yet started much physical training. Today, Sakura had borrowed a book about Tsunade Senju, the granddaughter of the Shodai Hokage, who had revolutionized medical ninjutsu. It was a warm afternoon, so she decided to take the scenic route home through the park near the Hokage monument. As she walked, she didn't notice a group of older boys nearby who were staring at her and whispering. Suddenly, one of them sneaked up behind her and lightly pushed her. Sakura stumbled and dropped her book. Her pink hair fell messily over her face. Look at that huge forehead. And that hair, so weird. The boy laughed, and the others joined in, teasing her. Sakura tried to ignore them, her love of books giving her courage, but her hands shook as she reached for her book. Just as she touched it, another boy grabbed it and read the title aloud. General Medical Knowledge, Tsunade Senju? He mocked. PL. Please give it back, Sakura whimpered, her eyes welling with tears. The boy sneered, throwing the book at her. Sakura picked it up slowly, wishing someone would help. She didn't know how close help already was. With Naruko. From nearby, Naruko Namikaze, a lively 4-year-old with bright blonde hair, had noticed the commotion. She spotted the boys teasing Sakura and felt her chest tighten. Without thinking, she ran forward and stood firmly in front of Sakura. Hey! Stop bothering her, Naruko said, her voice strong and confident. The boys were startled. Who are you? You can't boss us around. Look at her, so weird, one said. Naruko's eyes sparkled with determination. She remembered times when she felt hurt because of others' words and didn't want anyone else to feel that way. Bringing her hands together in a special ninja sign, she performed a simple technique and created 4 tiny clones of herself. The boys froze, wide-eyed at the sudden appearance of multiple Narukos. I said leave her alone, Naruko commanded. The boys, frightened by the display, scrambled away without another word. Sakura's mouth fell open in amazement, staring at the clever, fearless girl before her. Naruko smiled warmly and handed the dusted-off book back to Sakura. Here, this belongs to you. Thank you, Sakura said softly, her cheeks slightly pink. You know, medical ninjutsu is really interesting. I've been learning a little too, Naruko said cheerfully. Sakura blinked. Not many children her age shared an interest in medicine. Oh really? She asked shyly. Of course. I'm Naruko Namikaze, the blonde girl said, bowing slightly. And you are? Sakura Haruno. The pink-haired girl replied, then, feeling shy, quickly ran home. Naruko watched her go, tilting her head in curiosity. She didn't feel ignored or rejected, just that Sakura needed a little time. With a gentle smile, Naruko continued on her own way, thinking about how nice it felt to help a friend in need. 1 year later. Naruko stood in a sun-dappled clearing deep within the forests of Kanahagakura no Sato, on the west side of the village. The birds chirped softly, and the gentle wind rustled the leaves overhead. It was early afternoon, and the clearing was peaceful. Naruko's eyes were fixed on a tall, sturdy tree she had chosen for practice. Okay. I think I need to focus my chakra in my fist and let it expand outward, she murmured to herself. She inhaled deeply, letting the calm rhythm of her breathing guide her. If I do this right, I can shape my chakra into a bigger arm and see what happens when I try a large-scale technique. Naruko raised her hand, closing it into a tight fist. She shut her eyes and imagined the flow of energy moving from the world into her body, her own chakra following its path. She willed it to gather around her hand, shaping it into a glowing, powerful arm larger than her own. Slowly, the purple light of her chakra shimmered and formed a perfect duplicate of her arm, glowing with potential. A grin spread across her face. For hours she had been thinking about a new technique, and now it was finally coming to life. She clenched her hand tighter, and the chakra arm mirrored her motion, forming a fist of its own. With a determined pull, she thrust her arm forward. The moment the chakra fist touched the tree shivered and a few branches tumbled to the ground. The shockwave of her chakra made a soft indentation in the earth, sending a few leaves fluttering. Naruko rubbed the back of her head, giggling at herself. Maybe I overdid it a little, she said, looking up at the clear sky. The rest of the afternoon passed quietly as Naruko lay down in the grass, closing her eyes to rest and enjoy the warmth of the sun. A few hours later, a boy with wild black hair and sharp, observant eyes sat perched on a high branch nearby. He wore a dark, high-collared shirt, and his gaze never left Naruko. Sunset's coming soon, he whispered to himself. He had been tasked by the Hokage to keep an eye on Naruko for the week. Although she was brave and capable, the borders of the village could be unpredictable. It was a precaution to make sure she stayed safe, even though he secretly admired her courage. Finally, he leaned forward, holding 2 kunai between his fingers. With a playful glint in his eye, he aimed carefully at Naruko. When the kunai flew toward her, Naruko's eyes snapped open. With a small cloud of smoke, she vanished from her resting spot and reappeared behind him, her own kunai lightly tapping the base of his neck. Who are you, Shinobi-san? She asked, her tone serious but calm. The boy froze, surprised but impressed. He hadn't expected the little girl he had been sent to watch to be so quick and clever. Naruko tilted her head, smiling a little. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. But I think it's my turn to ask the questions now. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath as the two young shinobi sized each other up, not as opponents, but as friends in training who were about to learn from one another. Dear YouTube family. This is all for now. If you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel to stay updated with more. Thank you for your support. Regards. Anime Dreams.